In 1591, John Florio published the most interesting language lesson manual of the Elizabethan period. Second fruits.
Florio dedicated this manual to Master Nicholas Sandero Ewell. I have consecrated these my slender endeavours wholly to your delight, which stand for an image and monument of your worthiness to posterity. In the dedicatory epistle, there is a hint at Robert Greene's mourning garment and an allusion to one of John Lilly's recent plays, Endymion, the Man in the Moon, and a third allusion to the attacks of Thomas Nash, who criticized the practice of translation and the use of Italian works in England. The epistle shows that Florio had recently been meeting with adverse criticism because of his Italian sympathies.
As for me, for it is I, and I am an Englishman in Italian, I know they have a knife at command to cut my throat. Un inglese italianato è un diavolo incarnato. An Englishman in Italian is a devil incarnate.
Defining himself an Englishman in Italian, John Florio writes a twofold defense of Italian culture in England and of the practice of translation, signing himself with a new pen name.
Resolute Johannes Florius.
Unlike his early manual, Florio's Second Fruits is prefaced by a single commendatory sonnet, Phaeton, to his friend Florio.
Of great significance concerning this sonnet is that it is one of the earliest Elizabethan sonnets to be printed.
Sweet friend, whose name agrees with thy increase, how fit the rival are two of the spring! For when each branch had left his flourishing, and green lost summer's shady pleasure ceased, she makes the winter storms repose in peace, and spends enfranchised on each living thing. The daisies spout, the little birds do sing, herbs, gums, and plants do vaunt of their release. So when all our English wits lay dead, except the laurel that is evergreen, thou with thy fruits our barrenness overspread, and set thy flowery pleasures to be seen. Such fruits, such flowers of morality, were never before brought out of Italy.
Furthermore, in Second Fruits, Florio supplies just the kind of material which would appeal the writers of sonnets, arguments about women, beauty, and love.
Opposed to the first manual, now, in Second Fruits, the dramatic dialogues have different characters with names prefixed in the title for each chapter. They have captured the attention of scholars who often comment on the theatrical nature of these exchanges. There are discussions on fancy, tennis, literary criticism, and translation. Topical allusions mention St. Paul, Paul's Wharf, London Bridge, and the London Exchange, and the city streets and parks. Mention is made of the Queen, Bruno, Sidney, Spencer, the Earl of Southampton, and others.
Let's read the dialogue with Henry.
Good Lord, see whether Master Henry is coming toward us. It is even he. Oh, Master Henry, you are very well met. I kiss your worship's hands. What shall we do until it be dinner time? Anything please me, so we may do something. As for me, I refer myself to the company. Let us make a match at tennis. Agreed, the school morning calls for it. And afterwards we will dine together. And then after dinner we will go to see a play. The plays that they play in England are not right comedies. Yet they do nothing else but play every day. Yeah, but they're neither right comedies nor right tragedies. How would you name them then? Representations of histories without any decorum. Giordano Bruno is also mentioned in the book. The subject of patriarchism and anti-patriarchism, a dear theme to Bruno, is mentioned in chapter 12.
Oh, let's read it!
The chapter opens with these words. This will be a fair moment, star Shanna, my companions, and fine to watch in. And while the stars shine and the night wears on, the characters discuss about feminism and anti-feminism. Women are the purgatory of men's purses, the paradise of men's bodies, the hell of men's souls. Women are church saints, abroad angels, at home devils, at windows sirens, at doors spies, and at gardens ghosts. In contrast, there is a discussion of feminine beauty in chapter 8. In Choice of Fair are 30 things required, for which they say fair Helen was admired. 3 wide, 3 black, 3 red, 3 short, 3 tall, 3 teeth, 3 straight, 3 wide, 3 small, white teeth, white hands and neck as every white, black eyes, black brows, black hair that hid the line, red lips, red cheeks and tops of nipples red, long legs, long fingers, long locks overhead, short feet, short ears and thick in measure short, broad throat, broad breasts, broad hips and seamless sort, straight legs, straight nose and straight hair pleasure place, full thighs, full buttocks, full hair belly space, thin lips, thin eyelids and hair thin and fine, small mouth, small waist, small pupils over eye, of this who won so much of Fairy's wants, or who had all her beauty perfect wants. In the first chapter, Giordano Bruno is portrayed by John Florio lounging on the window seat, leafing through a book and poking fun at his friend John for taking too much time over getting dressed in the morning. Good Lord, what do you that you do not make you ready? Soft fire make a sweet malt. Now I come, I have done by and by. What do you do with so many clothes? I wear them according as the weather is. How many suits have you? I have to shift every day in the week.
You're flamboyant.
In that period, John Florio became a close friend of Vincenzo Saviolo, a famous fencing master from Padua, who published in 1595, with the help of Florio, Vincenzo Saviolo his practice in 2 books. John Florio, in second thirds, described him as more valiant than a sword itself, and someone who will hit any man, be it with a thrust or stoccata, with an imbrocata or a charging blow. Along with second thirds, John Florio also published a corollary work.
Giardino di ricreazione. 6,000 Italian proverbs without their English equivalents. It is one of the most important of the early collections of this kind.
In second thirds, Florio also wrote 2 chapters inspired by 2 tales of Boccaccio's Decameron.
I see you keep stealing.
In the same year, he decided to publish 2 novels from the 2 chapters. Lippo Topo, novelletta di Giovanni Florio, nella quale narrasi un singolare tratto di accidia, and Novelletta d'un avaro. Both novels were partially taken from the 2 chapters of second thirds, borrowed from Boccaccio's Decameron, The Sixth Day, 10th Tale, and rewritten and published as novels.
Second Thirds was a brilliant but provocative work, because it showed that Florio was an ambitious man, not only able to publish language lessons manuals, but to write about literature and poetry, inevitably getting harsh criticism from his enemies, who didn't like the idea of an Englishman in Italian be so popular in London. But Florio did not give up. With second thirds, resolute yet honest Florius began a new career connected with the most interesting and brilliant literary circles in London.